Good day, honored guests. I am Rebecca Brewton Motte, widow, mother, plantation mistress, and as of May 1781, accidental artillery assistant. This was my land, my home, and for a short but fiery spell, a British stronghold, they had the nerve to name Fort Motte. But let's not judge them too harshly. After all, they were simply uninvited guests that overstayed their welcome by about 3 weeks. Come along, and I'll show you how patriotism can not only warm the heart, it can sometimes burn the roof down.
Here stood my mansion house, 3 stories tall, flanked by outbuildings and ringed by palmetto log defenses. My husband, Jacob, had it built to show Charleston society we were not just rice planters, we were patriots with taste. After he passed, I ran the estate myself, rice, indigo, and occasionally British outposts. The British took it over in February 1781, building a stockade and turning my home into a mini fortress. Charming, isn't it? Occupied, fortified, and looted, all without so much as a may-we. You see this? It's where I hid the correspondence from General Nathaniel Greene. British soldiers were quartered upstairs in the mansion, and I was downstairs handing information to the Continental Army. I called it multitasking. When General Nathaniel Greene's Patriot forces arrived that spring, they surrounded the fort, but the British were dug in like ticks in a coonskin. Cannon fire couldn't break them, tunneling failed, so General Greene needed a new kind of weapon. Me. I offered them fire arrows and gunpowder-tipped reeds. Told them, burn it down if you must. I handed them the flaming arrows myself. It was just a house. Freedom was the foundation we built on. And burn it they did. It was a little spooky, but quite effective. The British surrendered, and I got new siding. My home was a small price for liberty. After all, it's just wood and nails. But freedom, that's forged in blood and smoke. May 12th, 1781, the siege began in earnest. Patriots launched flaming arrows onto the roof. My rafters blazed, smoke billowed. The redcoats panicked, and by sundown, the Union Jack came down, and the white flag went up. The fort surrendered. These grounds were once filled with citrus, herbs, and hope. I raised 6 children, managed this plantation, and supported the revolution all from here. They may call me a plantation mistress, but I preferred the title strategic asset. Years passed, the war ended, the nation was born, and then, long after my own lifetime, women arose who believed that the story of independence must not fade into silence. They understood that freedom is not preserved by victory alone, but by memory. Thus was formed the National Society Daughters of the American Revolution, an organization devoted to honoring those who secured American independence and to carrying its principles forward through service. Let us now turn our attention to the Rebecca Motte chapter of the DAR. Founded in November 1895 and based in Charleston, South Carolina. When the chapter chose my name, they did not choose a general or a statesman. They chose a woman who gave what she had for something greater than herself. In doing so, they declared what kind of chapter they intended to be. There is wonderfully detailed information about the DAR chapter named after me that can be found on the website RebeccaMotteDAR.org. On November 13, 1895, 16 ladies met in Charleston to organize a local chapter of the National Society Daughters of the American Revolution. The meeting was presided over by my namesake, Mrs. Rebecca Motte Hamilton Ryan, the duly appointed chapter regent. South Carolina produced such numerous women of distinction who served their country during the American Revolution that the ladies were faced with a very daunting challenge of choosing just one person to name the chapter after. However, the ladies responsible ultimately elected to name the chapter after me in honor and memory of the services I provided my country during the perilous time of crisis in its infancy. The first actual chapter meeting took place on December 12th of the same year at the home of the regent, Mrs. Ryan. In attendance were not only the ladies of the Rebecca Motte chapter, but also the state regent and regents and members from other chapters throughout South Carolina. The address by the state regent was reported in full in the Charleston paper. On March 9, 1896, the chapter's charter was presented to the membership in a frame made of wood from my actual home, and a gavel of the same was presented to the chapter at the same time. For some time, the chapter met in the homes of the attending ladies and later in a special room at the Gibbs Art Gallery. In 1898, the Rebecca Motte chapter regent, Mrs. Frances Mather Jones, appointed Mrs. Lee Cohen Harvey as chairman of the committee to secure the exchange as a gift from the United States government to be held by the chapter as a historical memorial. This was in reference to the old exchange building in downtown Charleston that was saved and renovated over the decades by the ladies of the Rebecca Motte chapter. The building itself was commissioned in 1767 by the General Assembly of the British Colony of South Carolina and completed in 1771. During the Second World War, the old exchange was leased to the government and the chapter ladies met at the Dock Street Theater. The Rebecca Motte chapter began permanently using the old exchange building for DAR meetings starting in March 1921 and continues to this day. This priceless piece of historic architecture is held in a trust belonging to the Rebecca Motte chapter and the South Carolina DAR together and is managed by the City of Charleston. The building itself has since become inseparable from the character and nature of the Rebecca Motte chapter. From its modest but hopeful origins, the chapter has become one of the most respected in the state and one of the most respected and valued organizations within its community. It will continue to be a leader in the preservation of the heritage and history of this nation in the South Carolina Low Country for years to come. The Rebecca Motte chapter was established not merely to meet, but to serve. From its beginning, it aligned itself with the three enduring pillars of the DAR: historic preservation, education, and patriotism. These are not idle words. They are commitments, lived out through their programs, their scholarships, the commemorations, and the quiet acts of civic responsibility. This chapter exists to ensure that the ideals born in my century remain meaningful in this one. They preserve history so that truth is not lost to time. They educate young people so liberty does not weaken through ignorance. They practice patriotism not as spectacle, but as stewardship. That is no small charge. In every age, a nation must decide what it remembers and what it forgets. The Rebecca Motte chapter matters because they have chosen remembrance with purpose. They honor veterans and active duty service members, acknowledging that service to country did not end in 1783. They encourage students to learn not only dates and names, but values and responsibilities. They protect historic sites and records so the past remains a teacher, not a rumor. They remind their communities that citizenship is not passive. In my time, patriotism demanded sacrifice under fire. In present day, it demands vigilance, knowledge, and service. All are necessary. Back in my day, women's contributions were rarely recorded. We served in kitchens and sick rooms, on farms and plantations, in whispered networks of support. History often passed us by. The Rebecca Motte chapter and the DAR as a whole corrects that omission. By honoring women's roles in the founding of this nation and by leading themselves, they ensure that patriotism includes every voice that helps sustain it. This chapter stands as proof that women have always shaped America, whether history chose to notice or not. To carry my name is not to glorify sacrifice. It is to understand its purpose. I did not give up my home to be remembered. I did it because the cause demanded action. Likewise, patriotic service is not about recognition, but about responsibility. Each meeting the chapter holds, each project they complete, each young person that becomes inspired answers the same question I faced. What will I give so that liberty endures? The answers are written not in flames, but in dedication. As long as the DAR chapters gather around the nation, I ask simply this: be thoughtful in your patriotism. Be faithful in your stewardship of history. Be generous with your knowledge and your time. Do not underestimate the power of consistent service. Nations are not preserved only by great moments, but by faithful people who show up year after year to do the work. I once watched my home burn so that a young nation might live. DAR members ensure the nation remembers why. That is why the Rebecca Motte chapter thrives. That is why it matters. And that is why my name endures, not as a relic of the past, but as a living call to service. I thank you, daughters, for your unyielding focus on service with integrity. May you do so with wisdom, courage, and unwavering devotion to liberty.
So here you stand, not just on farmland, not just on a battlefield, but on the scorched soil of sacrifice. The fort is gone, the house is ash. In its time it was a symbol, not of wealth, but of sacrifice. When liberty knocked, I didn't just open the door. I busted down the gunpowder stores. Thank you for visiting and carrying my story forward. Just remember, sometimes freedom is easy, and sometimes it takes fire. And if you ever need to light a bonfire for liberty, I still know a few tricks.